Welcome to the Wellness in Asheville podcast, where we shine a light on the people, practices, and places that make this city one of the most inspiring wellness communities in the country. I'm your host, Travis Richardson, founder of Be Well Asheville, your local news source for health, wellness, and community events. Today, I'm joined by Marissa, Program Director of the Center for Massage and Natural Health, an Asheville staple for over 25 years that blends professional massage training with whole person wellness. We'll talk about how Marissa's vision has helped shape the next generation of healers, why massage is more than just bodywork, and how her team cultivates both technical skill and emotional presence in their students. From professional licensure to personal growth, this episode explores how education itself can be a healing journey. Welcome to the show, Marissa.
Oh, thank you. I am glad to be here.
Well, it's really awesome for me because I used to be a licensed massage therapist. So when you said yes to the show, I was like, this is gonna be great because we're both speaking the same language.
Absolutely. Yes, it is good to have that in common. It's hard to discuss, the way that things work and body work when you're not a body worker yourself. So I think it's great.
Totally. And in our prior conversation, I thought it was really interesting, your journey through the path that you've taken to get to the role that you're in now. And so what drew you to massage therapy and holistic wellness in general?
Well, okay. So to be completely honest, it would be a very long story, but I will make it as short as possible. I started out studying kinesiology and sports medicine at Ohio State many, many years ago. I'm not going to reveal just how many. I've always been involved in healthcare, the sciences, intrigued by how it all works, how it's all connected. Be it the scientific or the what I like to refer to as the woo-hooey, it all ties in together. And I eventually went on to study the arts and then went on to actually get a master's degree in psychology. So when I attended the Center for Massage in 2011, 2012. And the interesting part about that is at the time that I was living in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So I just wanted to give back to this small community on Ocracoke Island, to be specific. It was the best way to do so. It was needed, and I have been practicing and holding a license since 2012.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, and I think it must be that your degree in psychology obviously helps influence sort of how you operate today within the clinic and with the students.
Absolutely. And I am a certified Esalen practitioner, so it is trauma-based, trauma-informed work, and it's definitely a turn in my career many years ago that I did not think I would take, but I absolutely love being here and representing the integrative side of massage at the school.
That's really cool. So like when I was in massage therapy school, we learned various modalities. I learned like Tui Na, which is a
Yes.
Chinese medical massage. There's trigger point, neuromuscular therapy, these various kinds of modalities, which I want to go over some of these later on in this episode so that people kind of understand how to get the right massage for them, for what's going on for them. But before I do that, I want to ask you, Esalen. How does Esalen massage, what is it? I never really studied it.
The way that I describe it to people that first come to actually receive a massage is that it's not just integrative, it's you're incorporating the entire body for the entire massage. So it's full body, like attention, not to say that any other modality is not, but it's all encompassing. I think that's the best word to describe because there's not really a method that you have to follow. Every single massage or session is different. It's focused on the nervous system and allowing the client to sink in, essentially after they've had some sort of traumatic event in the past, in the present, or just simply want to sink in. And it is slow-paced, very slow-paced, and it allows you to work in other modalities, which I often use. I use a lot of trigger point in my particular work, and I love showing that to the students. It's kind of like mind-blowing when they go from several different courses that are specific to that modality, and then knowing that, oh, well, this is how we can actually work. We don't have to spend just 5 minutes on one arm, 5 minutes on one leg. Like, you can go back and forth, and it's a dance around the table rather than breaking the body up into pieces parts.
Mm. Can you tell us just a little bit about the center itself and like how it came to be, sort of its history? Because it has a long history, and you guys are right downtown Asheville. It's a really cool spot. I
Yeah.
go there myself.
So it began here downtown, and it was located underneath Prasanna, I want to say, at one point. Actually, our clinical director was the first class in 1997 to attend. Then the owner at the time ended up moving out to Weaverville in this beautiful area, like rolling acres of farm, wonderful. And actually, when I applied to go to school in 2011, they were still located there. About 2 weeks prior to school, I was told that I was going to be moved to the new downtown location. And at first, I was kind of distraught. I thought, oh, I really was looking forward to being out in the country. But let me tell you, this building and the location is the premier location at this point in my mind. Of course, I'm biased, but being in the center of all of the culture and the arts and the music that you can hear outside when you're in class, I mean, it all contributes to the experience. And the fact that, again, I'm biased, we have some of the best instructors in town that have the longest history, along with the school. And we have actually been accredited since 2007, which is through CompTIA, and of course the state board, which is very, very important, at least to me, in the terms of the curriculum is solid. We do not stray from the curriculum. We get in the exact amount of the sciences, modalities. We introduce all the students to not just basic Swedish massage, but we have instructors that actually are DPTs, and they show all kinds of methods for deep tissue and MT. So it's it's just a really wonderful program. But not only that, being in business since 97 until now and remaining on that list of accredited schools, we were one of the only two in the state for a very long time. And I think that says a lot about the program itself.
And I got to say, like, just as a consumer of your services, because I was in massage therapy, I love supporting the students. So I actually, when I moved to Asheville about 5 years ago, the first massage I got was actually at your clinic, and
Oh,
because
I love that.
I'm like, oh yeah, because I totally, because I was like, oh, I love supporting the students. I love giving them feedback, and I was impressed. Like, as of late, it seems like every massage I get, like I literally told the last practitioner, I was like, I said, you're ready to go on
Yes.
and to be at work, like right now as a student. I
Yeah.
said, you're that good. And I said, I don't know if it's your training or maybe it's just you, but anybody who's listening, I would encourage you, go in and get yourself a student massage.
Yes, I
I,
highly agree.
and no, and also, and I would say we talked about this too, and also know when you need a professional, somebody who,
Right.
if you're coming in, you've got real issues that you want to work on therapeutically. A
Mhm.
student may not be the best match, but go
No.
get yourself a student massage if not, and it's pretty amazing. And yeah, can't talk. That's why we're on that's why I had you on here, because I'm like, I know one business I'd like to have on this podcast,
Oh,
and that's you
I
guys. So.
love that. Thank you.
Okay, a little bit about let's get on to the philosophy of healing in general,
Mhm.
with your take on it. So we talked in our preparatory session about this idea of somatics and how somatic healing and philosophy goes into what you do and how you weave that in. I'm curious to know, and for the listeners, if you haven't heard of this idea of that word, I mean, a
Yes.
lot of people don't know what that means. What does it mean, and how do you implement it at the clinic?
Ooh, so that would take, quite a long time to describe, but for me, I think the best way, to describe somatics, it's kind of the measure of, like, how does that make you feel in your body, you know? Um, Going, "All right, I'm struggling with this feeling right now, like, I'm really struggling through this massage, and for some reason, I'm extremely nervous with this client, and I just really am not sure how to move them around." It's that kind of inward talk and reflection and how to settle your own nervous system and be aware of that. I mean, that's really a very broad explanation there. I highly recommend everybody Google Somatics because
Mm.
you have a much better explanation than what I just said. But we have 5 different somatic classes that are mainly focused on how to deal with just that, like how you as the practitioner are feeling not only in your practice, but in your life, and how you can quiet and also absolve those feelings and not let them translate into the work that you're doing. Like putting up boundaries, always being ethical, just being aware of not only your client on the table, but yourself while you're practicing. And I think that's why we have these students are amazing and they're very intuitive. And a big part of that is getting in the idea of somatic training and just being extremely aware of your person and your presence, and also the client and your partner on the table.
That's awesome. This is a great segue into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which was, when I was in massage therapy school, what I saw was tons of life transformation things happening. People were getting, for better or worse, they were
Yes.
ending some relationships, but beginning some new ones, and they were reevaluating what they wanted to do in life, and I mean, literally like an overhaul, like from the belly up, just from the
Yes.
bottom to the top. And I mean, when you're talking about this work with somatics, if you're doing that, which you just said you are, that means to me that it's necessarily true that your students also go through some profound transformations. Do you have stories, anecdotal stories of people doing some really
Yes,
cool things with their lives, or maybe how's that
absolutely.
work?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the breakup issue because that has actually happened several times, and I've been here just about, under a year. And so to see that happen and people realize that the practices and the way that they are um, kind of steering the ship in their lives needs to be changed, it's pretty wonderful. And when it comes to even the I say the smallest thing, but this is a big thing: quitting smoking, eating healthier, becoming more aware of bad habits, becoming more aware of how you are in the world and how you affect others. And just the sheer fact of watching some of these students come in, like, for example, I think the best example, we had a recent student that in the course evaluation at the end, had written something to the tune of, I wasn't really how aware of bias, like the bias that I carry in the world until I came to massage school. And I had to readjust my attitude. But not only that, I've become a more aware, better person, kinder, more empathetic. So it's really interesting to get that type of deep feedback. And some of these people are quite young. I mean, we have students from the age of 19 to 65, and it's fantastic. That's my favorite part of the program is that every single cohort is so different, and all of them have their private challenges and changes throughout the entire process. And we get to watch all of that. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's my experience as well. So one of the things I feel like in our society, I think most people realize this isn't like new, but just this idea of being so touch deprived. Can you speak to sort of the healing nature of touch?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, I mean, we could address the elephant in the room. I think, 25, even 30 years ago, y- you would talk about, oh, masseuse. Now we are massage therapists. It is integrated into the healthcare system. It is being accepted into the healthcare system, and it is covered in certain medical. I mean, there's medical massage, oncology, you name it. So I think it is now merging with like the scientific aspect of just how much someone, when they're going through chemotherapy and they're receiving a very specific medical massage, it is life changing for them. And it helps with their recovery, it helps with the post op, pre op. So, at that level, absolutely. But then from my end of the spectrum as an Esalen practitioner, And being aware of the fact that we so easily disassociate from our bodies, and then having someone come in and they are brave enough to get on your table and allow you, to go through this therapeutic massage with them. When they're not used to being hugged or touched, or they rather prefer to not be, is kind of incredible. So that's how I feel about that aspect. I could go on and on about different aspects of how important it is, because we have, for lack of a better term, I've already said this, disassociated ourselves, especially in this day and age. So going out and getting massage, body work, it's really a fantastic method.
I think there's a movement from thinking about massage as a one-off,
Yeah.
treat yourself once a year, to
Mhm.
regular usage as a preventative, true, actual preventative health. I
Mhm.
always think it's funny when we talk about screening for disease and finding it as prevention. I'm like, oh, it just cracks me up. I'm like, how is that prevention? What did you prevent? You prevented nothing.
Yeah.
You found something. It's not, but you didn't prevent it at all.
Indeed, yes.
Um, so massage is a way to get your preventative medicine, in my opinion, in a real way. So let's talk a little bit more about what kind of modalities do the students learn, and I guess what can someone expect if they come into the clinic at a given time?
Sure. That is a great question. So, when you come into the clinic, rest assured that the students have literally gone through their entire, like, 20 classes of Swedish. They are well versed in what to do, what not to do, and especially in, injury prevention and that type of thing. So it's not like you're coming in here. We would never put a student in the clinic that has not gone through and completely passed their musculoskeletal class as well as their Swedish class. So, just to kind of circle back, our program, the basis is, of course, Swedish, and Swedish massage is probably the most common form of massage that people have experienced when they go to any kind of clinic, or even a private practitioner. But what we do is we start to introduce other forms of modalities. So, for example, neuromuscular, which you mentioned. It's more specific, more detailed work. Trigger point therapy, where you're holding a muscle, and just to bring that blood flow back. And so these are all things that we can sprinkle in with the basis of Swedish massage, which makes a well rounded practitioner. Now, we only get like 6 or 7 months with these students, and it's really, we wanna pack in as much as possible, but we don't wanna overwhelm, and that's what continuing education is all about. When I came into school, I'll use myself as an example, that way I'm not telling on anybody else, but I was really set on deep tissue sports massage. That is my background. I'm a long distance runner. I think it's like it's all or nothing, and I quickly realized the integrative massage was where it was at for me, and it's actually
Mm.
slower paced work. Yeah, allowing that your body to settle in. You're not just shaking somebody around on the table like post event a
Mhm,
race.
mhm.
It is wonderful to watch the students go through this process and check in with them like a year or two later, because they generally stay in contact with us, and we do track what happens with them. We keep in touch. And it's really wild. You'll have someone that decides, I was very much into deep tissue. I was really wanting to do that round and then shift into craniosacral, which we also have an introductory, craniosacral, but that is a very intensive, like, program as well that you would want to go into after you have your license so that you can get the full bandwidth of what it's about. There's just so many different things to be, explored.
Yeah, it's when you dive into what massage is, you find that there's like infinite numbers of ways of doing it, and it's definitely even regionally different.
Oh,
I remember learning I remember learning this technique. What was it called? Sensory repatterning from this guy from in California, and it was all about this like movement where it was like this constant rocking, and at the end, I
Yes.
swear to God, it felt like you're in a mother's womb because you're just like
Yes.
I don't know what happened, but I'm like back into baby form because I'm just like coddled by this constant rocking rhythmic motion. It was really interesting,
It is
but
a little.
that did something to my nervous system. And so healing comes in lots of different ways. And I think, yeah, for me, it's been that kind of nervous system reset's profound. Speaking of which, do you never notice during, I just out of curiosity, this wasn't,
Sure.
this is like random thought of mine. When there's tension, when there's like right now, there's lots of political tension happening,
Ooh,
uh, internal
yes.
and abroad. Do you notice an increase or a decrease in people coming to get massage, or is it just not something you would even track? I'm just
Uh,
curious.
okay, so many good questions, so many loaded. All right.
Yeah.
Without so many ways I can answer this, but yes and no. So, people are absolutely on um, heightened awareness and just the stress with work, with everyday life, with political, with everything in between. I am seeing an increase in the need, right? However, because of the state of the economy, there is a huge decrease. I mean,
Mm,
people feel as though massage is almost like, oh, I'm treating myself. I don't really need it. So I'm going to put it to the wayside because depending on who you see or what kind of practitioner you need, I mean, the specialization, the cost can be large. So
mhm.
I can see that throughout, I mean, all of downtown, and not just because of Hurricane Helene. I mean, that completely devastated our economy. And I think that people have this idea that we are somehow destroyed still here. So, of course, our tourism is down. But when it comes to people visiting the student clinic, thankfully, since it's a student clinic and it is very affordable, we still have a good amount of people here with us. Um, but I do know from talking to other practitioners and keeping in touch with other studios and establishments that it's way down, and it's a shame because people do need it, and it's kind of become a secondary thing. It's almost like, you know, it's not like it's gasoline or food. So we can put the massage in, you know?
And, we're not quite there yet where we do see it as like a necessary thing that we all should
Mm-mm.
be getting, and hopefully that it comes down the road. I think I think about countries like I believe it's Finland, where
Mhm.
so, like for instance, they have a sauna practice, and
Yes.
then the Japanese bathhouses, and like there's these
Yeah.
practices that these places that have in the world that are very therapeutic, very healing, and what are they all? They're also creating community in doing so. And I'm
Mm.
hoping that we have where, and that's my intention with what I'm doing is to help try to create more community, more gatherings, more people together doing more good things for themselves like
Yes.
getting massage, and
Yeah.
so that we see that as like we need to increase during times of stress. We
Yes.
need to try to find a way. It's worth the money, and if you have it, I know it's obviously this is could be definitely cost prohibitive for
Absolutely.
many. So I want to be
Yeah.
sensitive to that, but. For those that can, it's a really could be a game changer, and it can prevent lots of bad things happening, sort of body wise and disease wise down the road. Back to so let's bring it back to Asheville. How do you see? Or I guess what role does the Asheville community itself kind of play in your school's identity? Because you guys are right
Mm.
downtown. How does
I
that
mean,
play out?
it's everything. Obviously with people that become our students, with the cultural aspect of where we're located downtown, which I can't stress enough how much I love being in this spot. I'd be very sad if we moved ever out of this building, not just because I'm nostalgic about it, but because watching the change on Eagle Street, and it's lovely, but The most obvious answer is that this town is very accepting of alternative methods of healthcare and therapy, and we have a need for massage therapists, and we can provide that training. And quite literally, our students are so very different, and they're from this community. Some come from different states that are near us. Some come from, Oregon to specifically attend the school. So with that being said, I mean, this school is completely represented by everything Asheville, which is cultural acceptance and community, and, I think that's one of our top reasons to be here. I mean, for all of us, not just at the school, but living in this
Mm.
particular area of the country right now, especially.
We talked about public chair massages that you do. Tell me, those are like these like kind of smaller little pop-up events, or what are those? What are those
Yeah.
like?
So, quite often, we have been taking students who actually volunteer to go with us. We do community events in the city. Like, for example, there was a 5K for the city employees, and it was I would like 3 months ago. And when I tell you how many students I was shocked, volunteered for this thing, it was great. And it was just like a community 5K. We worked on all kinds of people just giving back to how hard these people have worked, especially since during the storm. Often we'll just open up the doors of the school, the downstairs classroom, and put out all the signs and send the students out. We will see we're right next door to the police department, fire department. So it's quite nice because those folks especially need some massage.
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
this evening, actually, in particular, I've got 7 students that we will be here downtown for the Juneteenth uh, representing our school, but also Penny Cup has invited us to join them. So we are going to have students giving free 15-minute chair massages. And just to whoever wants to sign up and give the students a chance to practice, but it's also a way that we really integrate ourselves into the community.
Totally. I think that is super smart, and it's a way to be visible, and it's a way to remind people, and I love
Right.
it. I think that's a great way for you guys to market your business and get the students in practice as well. Awesome. Okay. Well, what about the future for the Center for Massage? Or what's the next chapter like? What are you guys excited about?
So we are excited because we are offering a night class for the first time in a long time, and that starts November 17th. We've got spots open. We're always really excited when people just simply walk in off the street. We have conducted a lot of tours of the school. It's just fun to show people around. If someone's curious, if they're even thinking about the program in any way. But I think always the expansion on our program, keeping the program solid and for years to come. But the most exciting part in the upcoming future would be joining in on other community events, having an open door policy, making sure that when people come in here, they have a lovely experience. I mean, all of these things matter. But to me, the event like tonight, that is really truly my favorite part of this job. It's like when the day is over, taking the students out, dragging the chairs down the street, working on complete strangers that really, really need body work that probably have never gotten a massage in their lives. That's what I enjoy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to offer anything to our listeners, I think we talked about they can come by and get a tour, right?
Well, what they can expect is as much time as they wanna spend with any of us, they are more than welcome at any time. It truly is an open door policy here. There are 2 doors. Actually, one is to the downstairs classroom, which people will just randomly walk into all the time, and it's kinda cool because they'll be right in the middle of a class. Obviously not a bodywork class. We lock the doors with that, but, when you come into the clinic, I feel like tours of the clinic, getting to know the staff here, getting to know the instructors, and then maybe booking with the instructors at their own place of business. I would say eh, I think the most important part of where our solid foundation is in this school is being like open to if somebody cannot, for some reason, attend a course, or if they want to attend a course, figuring out how to do that and tailor it to them, and also offering the night class. But I think that's going to be really great because we've got to work full time, most of us, right? And there are
Mhm.
those that do not have the opportunity. We offer 2-day a week, 3-day a week classes, but sometimes you can't take 2 or 3 days out of the week. You've got your family, maybe you're doing a government job, which provides all of your insurance, which requires you to be there 5 days a week. So we literally have a student like that, by the way. And they were one of our main inspirations to bring the night class back. So I'm excited to see what the turnout for that. And again, it doesn't start until November. However, we already have 3 people that have locked in. So that's good because it's just June.
That, that's that's
It's a
that's a
good
good
thing.
sign. Things are pointing in the right direction. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I've got 3 quick fire questions for you. All right, short answer
Right.
form for you, please. Okay. First one: favorite modality or technique that you love teaching?
Oh, integrative.
Okay, we talked about that. Makes sense.
Trigger point. All the things I've already
Awesome.
said.
Yep. Yep. A book or quote that's shaped your approach to wellness, or it can even be an influencer, other podcasts, YouTube, anything like that.
Ooh. I I'm gonna give the
Author.
boring I'm gonna give the boring answer. That would be my dad. He is a retired general surgeon, and he has
Hmm.
inspired me my entire life to do good in the community and to help people feel better.
Love that.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dad.
exactly. Thanks, Papa
And
Cook.
yeah, and also one self-care ritual that you swear by. What do you do personally for your own self-care that you love?
I'm a long distance runner. That is how I
Mm,
meditate. That is my yoga. I have been running for many, many, many years, and I'm a marathoner, and I might be an old lady marathoner, but that is my go-to solving the world's problems, being in my head modality for myself.
Well, thank you so much, Marissa, for being on this show. I really appreciated your time. To learn more about becoming a
Thank you.
licensed massage therapist or to book a session with one of their incredible students, head to centerformassage.com. Whether you're looking for a new path, deep healing, or just a reset, Marissa and her team offer a truly supportive space to learn and grow. And if you're a wellness practitioner yourself, don't forget to join our networking group and explore more at bewellavl.com. Thank you. Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Be Well Asheville, visit bewellavl.com. And don't forget to follow this podcast. You can catch the next episode and bring us along on your hike on the Mountains to Sea Trail, on your drive through the Parkway, or on your way downtown to Friday's Drum Circle. If you loved what you heard, please rate and review the show. Your review helps others discover and grow our wellness community. You can also check out Asheville Wellness news, events, and our newsletter at bewellavl.com. Thank you for being the best part of our wellness community. Until next time, be well.